Hi, I'm Lindsay.
And I'm Marshall. Welcome to Tumble, the show where we explore stories of science discovery.
Today we're playing with fire, the fire of curiosity.
Which is probably honestly the only fire that's safe to play with.
Yes.
Don't play with the regular kind.
We're tackling more of your science questions, reviews, and revealing a special Tumble Easter egg. So stay tuned.
So we really had a great time the last time we did a mailbag episode, and we've been getting a lot more questions and listener reviews ever since. So let's just keep this good thing going.
Yeah, we love getting more of your comments and feedback and questions. And it's been really nice to hear from so many kids who listen and their families. But before we get to our listener reviews, Marshall, I want to ask you about this Easter egg that you hid at the last release, because I didn't even know what you were doing.
Yeah, you actually never do. And I've done this a bunch where when I record the Patreon shoutouts that are at the end of every single episode, I'll often just kind of hide something at the end for the people who listen all the way through, where I'll sometimes give away t-shirts. Did you know that
No.
I've given away 5 t-shirts that way?
No, this is Marshall's special corner where, I mean, okay, I do listen to the end of some of the Patreon shoutouts, but I think the point is that most people don't, and we know that.
Most people don't, including Lindsay.
When I get to the credits, I'm like,
Okay.
I know what happens.
Well, anyway, in our last episode, which was a rebroadcast of How Big is the Universe with Dr. Karen Masters, I actually went to the trouble of creating a crossword puzzle all about that episode, where if you've listened, you should be able to solve it with relative ease.
It's all facts from the episode or something?
Yeah, well, it's all stuff if you listen to the episode, you probably know the clue. If you haven't listened to the episode, it's wicked hard.
You're like, this is some specialized knowledge. Specialized knowledge you'll get if you listen to the episode.
Yeah, do you know what galaxies used to be called before they were called galaxies?
Blurgbergs.
Blurgbergs, exactly. That's
Yeah.
one of the answers on the crossword puzzle, Blurgbergs.
No, it's not. I know what they were called. I'm just not giving it to anybody so that when they do the crossword, they can get the knowledge for themselves.
Right. Well, anyway, so if you're a super Tumble fan and you really like the show, listen all the way to the end, because sometimes there's little prizes for you.
Yes, you will be rewarded.
Anyway, I got one person sent me in a completed version of this crossword. His name is Arthur. Way to go, Arthur.
Woo!
As a reward for your perseverance in sticking with that episode and doing the crossword, I gave you a free download of our album, Science Songs Volume 1, which you can find on Spotify if you want to, or download it on Bandcamp. We've got some links.
And speaking of finding things, if other listeners want to find and do the crossword, how would they find it?
They should listen all the way to the end of our last episode.
Yeah, go back.
I'm not going to tell you here.
I want to do the crossword.
Sorry. Anyway, let's get to some reviews. You have some reviews for me.
All right. So our first review today is titled Amazing by Mick, M-I-K.
M-I-K, and he's got a cat emoji.
Cat emoji.
Okay.
I love heart emojis, axolotls, and the podcast. I have 5 axolotl stuffed animals from Arthur, the kid who loves science and stuffies, and Mick. I think it's the cat, because it's cat emoji.
Is the cat leaving the review? I always thought dogs were the only animals who could type.
I think he's writing, Mick the cat is writing with Arthur the kid, who may or may not be Arthur of the podcast crossword puzzle.
Got it.
But P.S., what causes hiccups? P.P.S., why do you still think cats are evil?
I understand why a cat would take umbrage at that.
I think the P.P.S. does come from the cat.
Well, there we go. All right, what's our next review?
All right, this one is awesomely titled Wee 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 Ah Oh from Frenchie Mom 121. I love your show.
Microphone emoji?
Microphone emoji. It's so cool. Smiling sun emoji with sunglasses. I'm with you, Marshall. Cats are evil.
Indeed.
I have a dog emoji, named Dora. She is a French bulldog. Make an episode about French bulldogs and an episode about how a phone works.
Well, I mean, I think that's a fantastic review, first of all, but maybe this is a good place to mention that if you have a question that you want us to make an episode about, you really ought to email us at tumblepodcast@gmail.com. We don't really do them from reviews.
Yeah, but I also, if you want us to make an episode about something, we do need a question.
We need a question. We need to know, what do you want to know about French bulldogs and what would scientists do to study them?
Yes.
Is there a scientist who's like a French bulldog expert? Like only that breed?
Gotta be.
I'm sure. So I guess we should wrap up here.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, let's take a quick break, and when we come back, we will dive into your science questions. All right, we're back, and it is science question time.
So recently we've gotten questions about everything from sandwiches to black holes, flowers to the environmental impacts of dinosaurs if they were alive today. Hint, they might eat you.
Yeah, that was an interesting thought experiment.
But I thought, today we would start with a question about a question. It's from Gray, who's 8 years old, and he lives in Baltimore, and he wants to know...
What is the science of asking good questions?
What is the science of asking good questions? I think this is a very meta question to ask in a section about asking questions.
Yeah. Okay, to answer it, I asked Dr. Remy Du, who's one of our science advisors and an expert on teaching and learning. So we've also worked with Remy on our own research, so we've gotten to see him in action, which is figuring out how we could ask good questions to discover how podcasts can help science learning. So let's hear his answer for Gray.
I think at the core, what makes a good question is to have a very clear understanding of what do you want to do with your answer? What do you hope to accomplish with the answer? And so even like the most everyday questions that we ask each other have an aim, have a purpose. We imagine that the answer will allow us to function or do something in some way. And even questions where we don't have any explicit aim or purpose, where it's just the joy of knowing. So for example, when I was little, I was always fascinated by sharks, and I wanted to know where could I find shark teeth and what beaches could I explore where I could find shark teeth on my own. But I've asked questions about, like, let's say something more distant, black holes, that I don't know that I had a real purpose other than just the satisfaction of knowing the answer. But even then, I guess there was a purpose, and it was that joy. And so I think at the heart of it, the way you know you're asking the right question is if the answer helps you fulfill the goals and purpose that you had when you asked the question.
So Remy is saying that you have to have a purpose in mind when you're asking a question, and the joy of learning something can be that purpose.
Yeah, I mean, that was one thing that my professors always told me is, you got to have a reason for asking this question, or like, what are you trying to get done?
Yeah, and as a journalist, part of my job is asking questions, and I have to have an idea of what I'm going to want to find out. Because, people can share their knowledge, but if you want to get to a point of something, you do have to frame your question to, have an outcome that you can kind of anticipate where it's going to take you. And for me, that's always telling a really good story.
Yeah. Okay. Well, all right. So do we feel like we've answered what is the science of good questions?
I mean, we've scratched the surface, let's be honest.
Yeah. I mean, one thing I should say is I actually asked like 4 different people, and they all gave such wildly different answers. I didn't even know what to do with it.
I think if you have one takeaway, a good question is a question that you're really curious about and that you can not just find the answers to, but investigate to satisfy your curiosity.
All right. Well, okay, are we ready to do the next one?
All right. Yes, I am. So for the next question, we actually had 2 questions that were on similar topics. So we decided to call up our friend Dr. Peter Walters. Peter is a physicist, and he's worked with us for kind of a long time on a series we did featuring scientists who happen to be blind. And Peter happens to be blind as well. And he knows literally everything. So here's our conversation with Peter.
Okay, Peter, so we have 2 questions that are all about fire, which is kind of cool. The first one here is from Penelope.
Hello, my name is Penelope, and I'm 8 years old. My question is, what state of matter is fire in, and is it matter at all? I think scientists can find out by comparing it to other states of matter. Thank you. I love your podcast.
I would say if you're talking about fire, it's a process. And usually, I think what Penelope is probably asking about is what is flame, which is produced by fires. So fire is a combustion process when you're burning things. Usually you combine heat and a fuel, which is the thing that burns, and an oxidizer, which in most cases is oxygen. And when you put them together in the right way, you get a self-sustaining process called fire.
If you were to dial it all into a sentence, what would you say?
So discussing fire as a process and flame as the result of that process, flame is, I would call it generally a gas, and sometimes a plasma if it gets really hot.
And so like a plasma is just like really hot gas.
Well, it's a gas where it's gotten hot enough to strip electrons off.
Ooh.
It's like the next state of matter after gas.
It's basically the next state of matter, where it's like it's too hot for atoms or molecules to hold together.
Right. So
And
if
so
you
you get-
heat up a Hot Wheels car, it will become a puddle of liquid first, then gas, then you have your Hot Wheels plasma when it gets like super hot wheels.
Right.
That's actually what they call the hottest wheels. It's like
All right.
too hot to wheel.
Yes.
I think it gets too hot to wheel as soon as it becomes a liquid.
Yes.
There's no wheeling at that stage.
But so the answer is like when Penelope is like, is it matter at all? Yes, it's matter for sure.
I would call it matter, yes.
Okay. Are we ready for the next fire-related question?
Hi, my name is Layla, and my question is, how does friction make fire?
Friction makes fire, and this is going back to the discussion of what's the 3 things needed for fire. You need an oxidizer, you need fuel, and you need heat. So, but if you're doing the thing where you're trying to start fire with friction, you're doing 2 things. You've got oxygen around, that acts as your oxidizer. So the last 2 things you need is fuel and heat. The friction produces heat. So there are forces between 2 things. So if you've got 2 sticks and you're rubbing them together, for instance, as the molecules of the one stick are brushing against the molecules of the other, there are interactions, and you are moving them back and forth faster than those interactions can pull the heat away, in particular for wood, because it doesn't transfer heat very well, not like metal. So the heat can build up. So you've got the heat building up there, and what you're also doing is scraping off tiny little bits of wood. And that's important because what you've got there is more surface area to interact with the oxygen when the heat becomes enough to light it.
So it seems to me like the basic answer is that friction causes heat, and heat is one of the things that you need. And if you get enough friction, you get enough heat.
Right.
All right. Well, thank you so much for talking to us about fire.
It's fun. Fires are fascinating.
All right. Well, that was really fun to talk to Peter. And Marshall, I actually have one last question for you to answer.
Oh, for me?
Yes.
Oh, is it about whether dolphins are better than octopuses? Because they are.
No.
Oh.
This is a follow-up to a previous question on our last mailbag about infinity, and it comes from Eamon, who clearly listened to the whole thing. And he said, What if we subtract infinity to a number? What is going to happen?
What is going to happen? Well, okay, Amen. Here's my math teacher answer for you: is infinity is like, it's not really a number. It's more like and so on. You know what I mean? It's
Like a
like
concept?
yeah, it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and so on. Infinity. There we go.
Also known as etc.
Yeah. So if you subtract infinity from a number, you're subtracting and so on, and you get a concept called negative infinity, which is basically like, if you count numbers below 0, it goes 0, -1, -2, -3, and so on.
You're just getting them to the most negative number that you can possibly imagine.
Yeah, well, just like forever. So if you subtract forever from 6, what you get is negative forever. And that's just how it is. And if you subtract 6 more from that, it's still just negative infinity.
Well, I think our questions about infinity could go on forever.
Oh, good one. So thanks so much to all of our listeners. I want you to keep the questions coming. You can send them to us at tumblepodcast@gmail.com, or you can use the contact form on our website, which is sciencepodcastforkids.com. Make sure you include your name, your age, what your question is, what you think the answer is, and how scientists might find out.
And we'll just say, we do read all your questions on all platforms, including our reviews on Spotify. But when you email us, we can actually respond to them if we think that we want to use your question, and we would love to get a recording from you. And one thing that we want to add that we kind of don't talk about enough is the fact that we have merch.
Yeah, we do. We got like t-shirts, hats, hoodies, whatever, including my favorite design, the bird jackets, because birds get cold.
That's from our inventor episode, and it was really funny. We also have axolotl shirts with one of our favorite axolotl puns, which is we've got an axolotl facts with a little axolotl reading a book. It's so cute.
It is very cute. And there's a capybara shirt that says, "How do you catch a happy cappy?" which is a reference to our song of the same title, which you can listen to on Spotify.
Yes, just go to tumblepodcast.dashery, that's DASHERY.com to check it out. And, if you're looking for back to school wear, you could be representing Tumble in your school.
That would be great, wouldn't it? We also want to let you all know that we've got a bunch of live events coming soon that will be posted. I'm not sure where. They will be posted in places. Watch this space for announcements for where you can find us this fall. We're going to be kind of all over the Northeast and actually the Bay Area this fall and winter. So check out the space for announcements for where you can come see us in person.
Thanks today to our experts, Dr. Remy Du at the University of Miami and Dr. Peter Walters at Independent Science.
If you want to support Tumble so we can keep making more episodes, just join our Patreon starting at $1 a month at patreon.com/tumblepodcast.
And brief shout out for our YouTube page. If you have ever heard or been on YouTube, we have a channel there too. You can subscribe at Tumble Podcast on YouTube for full episodes and more videos that we'll be making this fall. So I'm Lindsay Patterson, and I wrote this episode.
And I'm Marshall Escamilla, and I produced this episode and made all the music. Tumble is produced by Tumble Media. Thanks for listening, and stay tuned for more stories of science discovery. Okay, well, so now here we are. The episode's over, so that means it's Patreon shout-out time. In this episode, we've just got one new supporter on Patreon. It's Sam, whose birthday was last week on August 16th. Happy birthday, Sam. You bring so much joy into the world. Mom and Dad love you. Way to go, man. And I also want to let you know that I'm really excited about this episode because it is back to school season, and you all know what back to school means. It means learning, and learning is just, oh my gosh, it's the best. So to celebrate that, we want to give you all an offer to celebrate this upcoming year of amazing learning by supporting Tumble on Patreon. And we're offering everyone 75% off the first month if they use the code BTS2025 at checkout before September 5th. So just go to patreon.com/tumblepodcast, choose your tier, and enter BTS 2025 at checkout. You can remember the code because of the K-pop band BTS, who may or may not hunt demons in 2025. See, it's a mnemonic device for remembering, learning. And now on to the birthdays we've got coming up the next 2 weeks. To Alexa, happy birthday, precious girl, on August 26th. You bring so much joy and giggles into your family's life, and they're wishing the happiest of birthdays and a wonderful year. Mom, Dad, and Alfie love you. And to Oren, Mom, Dad, and Robin love you so much. Hope you have a happy birthday on August 30th. And to all of you and to everyone who supports Tumble on Patreon, we appreciate it so much. If you want to get a birthday shout out of your own, just go support Tumble on Patreon at the $5 level or higher by going to patreon.com/tumblepodcast. And if you want 75% off the first month, just enter the code BTS2025. If you're on Spotify, you can get there just by tapping the subscribe button. We try to make it so easy. Anyway, thanks, y'all. And of course, after we made such a huge deal out of hiding Easter eggs at the end of Patreon shoutouts in this episode earlier, you know, the crossword puzzle and all that, if you're remembering stuff. Anyway, you know I couldn't possibly refrain from hiding one here. So if you're still here and you're still listening, I've got a super special gift for you all who persevere all the way to the end. I am personally gifting 6 free months on Patreon to the first 5 people who go to the link bit.ly/eggtumble1. That's EGGTUMBLE and the number 1. If you go and claim the gift, you'll get ad-free access, special bonus content when we get around to posting it again, and of course, a birthday shout out on our show. So once again, that link is bit.ly/eggtumble1, all lowercase, all one word. And if you miss out on free, you can still get that BTS 2025 discount if you want. Anyway, I'm looking forward to getting 5 new subscribers for free, 6 months. Thanks for listening all the way to the end.